Somebody said it
See?
might not be the best of times, but we have to make the best of the times. And
Yeah,
I
I like
think
that.
I think this is one time where I've listened to one or two of your sessions. I listened to that billionaire's mindset, and my notes was full.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
So, what do you want us to do today?
All right. It's I tell people, and I'm saying that this is going to be my first. You're going to address us for a few minutes now. We
Mhm.
might not have had the control of the season we are in, that's the season of the pandemic, but we have a
Yeah.
control of how we come out of it.
Yes.
So we might not have had an excuse of, hey, we just found ourselves here, or maybe whatever. But how we get out of it and life after it, it's our
Yes.
responsibility.
I
And
agree.
so, if there's one man I know that God has graced, not just from the past to the present, but also to lead the future, lead change, lead the new normal, I think you fall into that category. And today, we're blessed to have you online. So, when we say life unscripted, it was not planned, but we have found ourselves here. How do we get out of it, and what do we do to lead the narrative? So, we're going to listen to you in the next few minutes, and people will send in their questions. So, over to you, Mr. Tonye Patrick Cole, sir.
Okay, so first and foremost, I love the title. So thank you, Femi, for having me on. And when I got the title "Life Unscripted," it essentially spoke of today. It spoke of exactly where we are. It spoke of the mindset that we need to take on, and it spoke of life in general. Life
Hmm.
essentially it's unscripted. You have a journey that you're going to live on, and almost every day you wake up, it's almost like a blank canvas that you have to make decisions at the beginning of the day how you want the day to end. And so the important thing is that your mind should be telling you what you want to take out of every single day, and then you create the journey that will that will lead you there. And so we're in another phase. In fact, we're in one of the biggest phases in our lives when it comes to uncharted territory with COVID. Right now, we're looking at what does tomorrow bring, and it's uncharted. But the beautiful thing about uncharted territory is that it gives you the opportunity to write your story. So, what is the story of your life that you want to write? And that's where we are. I think everybody has been given this unique opportunity by God Almighty to rewrite their story. And I don't know if you're rewriting your story, but generally, my own story is being rewritten even as we live.
Thank you so much, sir. You talked about writing a story, writing our narrative, but I want you to help break it down for people who are going to be watching now. Writing, what does it entail to write your story? What does it take to reinvent oneself and lead that narrative, so that for people who are watching?
Okay, so essentially we start with purpose. A lot of people are out either seeking their purpose, or some people already know where their purpose is. But it starts off, first of all, by asking yourself in a time like this, that what am I called for? What is my role in life? When I wake up in the morning, how many people am I going to impact today? So you start off with that. Do you know your purpose? Have you discovered what your purpose is? Have you discovered what your role is? Now, let me assume two things. Let me assume in the first instance that you have discovered your purpose. Then the question is that, are you working in that purpose? Are you making an impact? Are you making a difference daily? So if you are not, then writing that script at the end of the day is setting targets to how are you going to continue to push your purpose, push it further, and not just fold your hands doing nothing. The second aspect of it is, let's assume that you have not found your purpose. Then this is one of those clear moments in life when you have to. Why? Because everything is unscripted. We're starting all over again. So you sit down and you begin to think that prior to now, I don't know, however, how old you are, prior to now, I wasn't happy with the way I was doing, going about life. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think it was the right thing. I didn't feel all of that. This is the time for you to now sit down and think about what next, because it's uncharted. Remember that new opportunities are going to be created even in this period. New ways of learning, new ways of education, new ways of travel, new ways of doing business, logistics, new ways of digital tech, new ways in agriculture. So many new things are going to come out of this. So the question you have to ask yourself is, with all of these opportunities coming out, can I key into my purpose in this time? Now, Femi, The main problem here, right, is that most people are going to be looking at the negatives. And when you are looking at the negatives, what are the negatives? I may lose my job. What are the negatives? If I don't have a job now, if I did not have a job before, how am I going to get a job now when things are going to be harder? If you're looking at the negatives, saying that, you know what, I'm in Nigeria, you're in America, but let's say it's going to be harder to get money, capital to start my business then now because it was hard then. You see, if you focus on those negatives, then I can guarantee you that you're going to be in a negative place moving forward. So one of the key things that you must do at this point is that begin to shift your mind to look at all the positives that are out there. And what are the positives? There are so many positives. New ways of doing business, new ways of doing school, new ways of real estate, new ways of viewing real estate, new ways of agriculture, new ways of logistics, new ways of medicine. I got today. I meant to be doing a physio, just have a physio look at some backache that I used to have. Now, I'm meant to do that. I was meant to be in school this week in Oxford. I'm meant to have that physio on Friday, but I get a message that comes in saying that, sorry, the physio, because of the COVID and all of that, the physio cannot hold face-to-face. But are you open to a virtual session? Now, that was unthinkable just 2 months ago, 3 months ago. All of a sudden, you are moving into medicine that is now virtual. So the point is, are you ready to switch? Are you ready to pivot? Are you ready to think differently? Because the opportunities are there.
Wow. You talked about purpose, which I'm going to maybe take you up. Just my years of working with people, especially young people, I tell them, I say, your dream is not what you just see when you're sleeping. Your dream is that thing that doesn't make you sleep. That burden, that thing that you really want to run with. I know. I want to use you as an example now. I'm sure a lot of people are probably working in the corporate life now, that rat race, 9 to 5, which is not bad to start with. I always encourage people to start on that trajectory, then phase it out, right? But that making that shift from that corporate 9 to 5 life and begin at that point where you want to start pursuing purpose. There's the risk involved, certainty to uncertainty, so many things. How do you think people can successfully make that transition? And do you also think it's good for people to start with that life and move eventually? So 2 questions in one.
So the first thing that you need to know is that your purpose will always catch up with you. You are, at some point, you are always going to get to that level where you're going to have a thought, look into yourself and ask yourself that, am I in the right place? Am I doing what is right? Am I happy with where I am? That thought is always going to chase you all the days of your life. It will chase you. Why? Because when you were created, from the day you entered into this earth, you were created for something. And as long as you are not doing that something that you were created for, you are not going to have peace. Now, the question is that every single time that you don't have peace, what are you going to do about it? The main thing that keeps people from moving into their purpose is fear. Now, you must realize that the fear of walking in your purpose, right, is, what's the right word? It's not something that you should be afraid of, because the fear of moving in your purpose actually denies you from everything that you need to excel. It denies you from everything you need to excel. So when the thought begins to happen, you're working. There's nothing wrong with working somewhere. So you're working in a place, right? Now, that work in that place, if you understand it, that it is part of building your character towards the day that you're ready to step in to your purpose, then it's fine. You're okay. It's okay. But when your body begins to feel unsettled and you know it is time to move, then that is where you start to battle the fear. I've been comfortable here. I have a steady salary. I know my 9 to 5. The uncertainty of moving into this other area, is it something I'm ready to do? My brother, to my sisters out there, it is something you are ready to do. Just face it. Because when you move into your purpose, things will start aligning. There are things that will begin to come that would help you move forward. Yes.
Thank you so much. I see why people really look up to you so much. You have so much, you're an embodiment of wisdom. For those who are just joining in, we're having a session with Mr. Tonye Patrick Cole on life unscripted, how we can lead the narrative in the new normal world. He has said right on time that life will never remain the same as it has always been. So how can we chart the course? How can we be ready for life after COVID? My name is Femi and they work on all the way from Atlanta here. So if you have your questions, please send your questions in. Those on Facebook, feel free to send your questions via Facebook, right, on the comment section. I'll pick it up from there. Those on Instagram, there's two boxes with a question mark on there. Just type a question, or you can also put it as a comment. I'll pin it up because it's all about getting so much learning, about learning, unlearning, and relearning today. That's what's really available. So life is about ups and downs, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
even if one is following purpose, even one is in line with purpose, there will always be ups and downs, right?
Yep.
From your practical experiences, not just even from, we can all read this everywhere, but, I believe so much in experiential knowledge, and I believe that's why we're having sessions like this, right? Can you just tell us maybe once or two occasions where you've had some really low times in life, maybe some downs, how you found yourself there, and what the steps you did to get yourself out of it?
Well, see, I've worked so hard always in having a positive mindset that it's almost difficult to think about when one has when one has down moments and all of that. Very, very difficult to think about that. But I would say, let me see which opportunity would I say. Okay, so there was once when and this was a job that we were many years ago. We worked very, very hard for. We were tendering for the refineries in Nigeria at the time. We had worked extremely hard for that, put everything in place, gotten to the bid process on the day that we were going to submit the bid. In fact, we submitted the bids and all of that. And just before they were going to announce the bids the next day, everything got cancelled. Now, when all of that got cancelled, it left me feeling that why are you going to put so much effort into an exercise like this only for it to get cancelled? Why bother? But how did I get out of it? I looked at it differently and began to see that, you may be disappointed with the outcome, but the entire process that we did to get there, and I'll tell you one of that process. I remember that when the day before we were going to submit, we needed to put in a bond, right? And that bond was huge. It was not something that we had the money sitting in the bank just ready to do it. And it had to stretch every bit of our relationships, our discussions with the banks, every single thing to make sure that we got that bond. We had never done bond, never pushed for an asset that big. We had never pushed to get ourselves into that space where you needed to get a bond that big. But the mere fact that we thought it, we pushed it, we fought for it, and we got it, even though we did not win, even though that entire bid got cancelled, it took us mentally into a new space, into a space that we knew that, if we could do it then, we can do it again. And what did that lead to? The mere fact that we were able to do that at that time now led us with the confidence to go and bid for the electricity companies. Because at this point, we knew that we could do it. We knew that we could bid. We knew that we could raise money. We knew that we could have the discussions. We knew that we could find the technical expertise. We knew that we could develop the people. We had seen all of that from a bid that went wrong. And just pushing that meant that the next time we got a bid that succeeded. So the mere fact that you try something and it does not work does not mean that that's the end. A lot of times it's the preparation that you need for the next level. And that's what that did for us.
I thank you so much. There's always a message in the mess. No matter how it seems, we should just thank you so much. The questions have started trooping in. So let me just take them. Okay, Akimbo Wale Ayeni says, okay, I think that's in Maryland, USA. I think one of the challenges is identifying purpose. So how can one identify purpose? Sorry, I just felt purpose was an issue that has been so trashed, and so I skipped that. But they're taking back that very quickly. How can one identify purpose? That's from Akimbowale in Maryland, USA.
So there are various ways, but I would always say that the easiest way, first of all, for you to identify purpose is that what keeps you awake. Or let me rephrase it. So angry when you see it, that you know that you must just correct it, that if you don't correct it, you are not just going to have rest. So if there's something, right, that you are so upset about, that you know that if you don't correct it, you will not have rest, then you're beginning to find where your purpose is. Another part of it is that if there is something that you love so much that you cannot but make sure that everybody, you just want to call everybody, come and share this thing, come and see it. You want people to benefit from what you enjoy so much, then you found your purpose. Purpose is not in between. Some people, one leg here, one leg there, they're still searching. Believe me, when you find your purpose, you are resolved. You don't listen to, you're not distracted anymore. You know where you're going. The day you walk into your purpose, nobody will distract you. They can talk, they can say whatever they want and all of that, but you know that this is my destination. Anybody who is on a mission for their purpose, they're not distracted by side talk. They're not distracted by abuse. They're not distracted by rumors. They know where they're going, they follow it. So for me, if you want to find your purpose, first begin with what is it that you love so much that you cannot help but share, get other people to come? Or what is it that you dislike so much that you don't want others to suffer from it and you want to make sure you correct it? Either of those two will put you on the path to purpose.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I see a lot of people joining. My boss, Pastor Sholalu Dui, is also here. I welcome you, sir. A lot of people I can't even start mentioning. But I'm going to take another question here very quickly, sir. That's from Chef Dami. He says, early in business, how did you deal with the staff who had to leave to start their own shop? Or let me just take it with this. let me just answer that question and I'll add a question to that, sir.
Okay. All right. You can't do anything about that. Okay. So, especially when, and I'm sure where that question is coming from, is that they're coming to be your competition. In other words, they come, they sit with you, they learn from you, and then they go and open up exactly the same business. You cannot do anything about it. What it should do for you is that it must keep you on your toes. It must always enable you to think ahead. You see, you got the business, you got the inspiration, you got the idea. You employed some people, no problem, they would learn from it. Now, some of them would want to go and set up another business, no problem. You move forward. So always have your mind on the next level, Let that competition spoil you to be better. Let it not cause you to rest. You see, the person who suddenly folds his hands to think that he or she has arrived is dead. The day you think that you have arrived, you have died. So when your staff come and they go and open the same business, know at that point in time that it's time for you to move to the next level. So for us, it's always been something that has spurred us to greatness. When we see people, they said the best form of flattery is imitation. The best form of flattery is imitation. When you see people imitating you, imitating your business, imitating your business model, imitating the way you dress, then you know that you are doing something right. But you had better continue doing that thing right. Because if you slow, if you fold your hands, if you rest, you're out.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm just, before we leave that point, that's really wisdom. You talked about continuous improvement. You've talked about, keeping at it. No matter how good we start, we must keep improving. But now, how do we deal with this? Our first term is betrayals. Maybe a lot of times when you have an ideation stage, a concept stage, you try to share those ideas with people. He that works with the wise is always wise, and the quality of your friends. So you share with somebody, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking we can do this, and before you even come out with it, the person has stolen that idea and is running with it. How do we deal with things like that? Because it happens in life. I don't know if maybe you have so much good things that it never happens to you. But you have an idea, I'm thinking of this, And it just
All right. I know. Look, to everybody out there who has ever had an idea stolen, uh, take courage, because what it means is that you are a vessel of ideas. In other words, you have great ideas. Don't worry yourself about it. The idea coming to you, somebody steals that idea, I can assure you the person can never do it better than you. Never, never. No
mm,
matter how they
mm.
try. It's your idea. It's they only tried, they took it, they stole it, they went to do it, and they will almost certainly fail at it. But it is your idea. So the next thing that you know is that the same place that that idea came from, many more ideas will come. So you have one idea, another idea will come, and another one will come. Don't worry yourself about it. An idea that is not actualized just remains a dream. Go and
Hey,
actualize it. Actualize it. Don't worry yourself. You have ideas, more ideas will come.
thank you so much, sir. For those who are just joining, we are on a Instagram live session with Mr. Tonye Patrick Cole on Life Unscripted, and questions are thronging in so much. Are thronging in so much. Says, following the talk of purpose, can someone's purpose, that's from Chef Dami again, be to help build another business or another purpose? So can
Yeah,
one's purpose be to
absolutely.
help build another
Absolutely.
person's purpose?
Absolutely, absolutely, most definitely, most definitely. There are people who build people. There are people who wake up every day, and what they want to see is that they just
Mm,
want to see people build. They want people to discover themselves. They want to help them. They want to
mm,
help people build businesses. By
mm.
all means, you have, in fact, you have a greater blessing that way. If what your legacy is at the end of the day is that you are building people, that is by far greater than any monument you can put in. So 100%
I love that. Thank you so
acceptable.
much. Thank you so much. A question from Oputa Ikechukwu, if I'm right, says, Sir, how can my purpose correspond with my value system? So we're now talking about personal value system and purpose. How do they go in line with that?
They're one and the same. It's up to you. Now you can take, so purpose is your direction. Purpose is what you are going to do in life. Your value
Mm,
system is your character. It is how
mm,
you are going to carry out your purpose. Now
brilliant.
there are people who take their purpose and their character is so warped that they steal, they lie, they kill, they do everything in achieving their purpose. In that journey, not only do they destroy their destiny, they destroy the purpose for which they are created, and they destroy so many people along the way. Others have a character, integrity, character, very strong character about where they're going to go. And they use that to guide them along the journey, to their purpose. And you find out that not only do they fulfill their purpose, they along the way they help a lot of people discover theirs. A lot of people come and benefit from that and go and fulfill their own purpose. They magnify and they imprint on many lives along the way. And so by the time they get to the end and they look back, the number of lives that they have touched in their purpose is beyond belief. They don't
Mm,
sit down thinking about it. They just keep going, impacting one life here, doing one thing there along that purpose. And when they're on their deathbed and they look back or they see their obituary, if they have the opportunity, they would see
mm.
of people along the way. That's what purpose does. You impact people.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm going to take this very quick. I don't know why a lot of things are coming on purpose. So many questions on purpose. So much. Someone says, Sir, must my purpose fetch money for me?
Okay. So at the end of it depends on how you want to say fetch money. So let me put it this way: your purpose will always meet your needs, or your needs will always
Mm,
be met by your purpose. So that is clear. First, let's understand that. So your needs will always be met by your purpose. But I suspect that a lot of people look at that answer and they want to know whether their purpose will bring them stupendous wealth, whereby they're bigger than Bill Gates and all of that. And the answer is no. That is not some people. And the funny thing is that there are some people whose purpose it is to create wealth. Their purpose in life, they can create wealth. There are some whose purpose it is to impact people. There are people who are content. They will never ever make more than what they need. But what they leave
mm,
behind The impact they leave behind is beyond belief. So don't make money your goal. Don't make money your goal. Make the impact that you're going to make the goal. Your purpose will always meet your needs. That's what I'm sure about. I'm sure it will meet your needs. But is it going to always translate to billions? No, 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 no.
I love that. We should even look beyond the immediate mindset of money. We should look into impact. And now I'm still going to ask you a lot of things on impact, but I'm going to take a question from Pastor Mulere Muiwa Timothy on Facebook. It says, considering how unstable, okay, so for those, he's also watching from Nigeria, I think from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Considering how unstable Nigeria business environment can be, how have you been able to ensure business continuity without going down in business and not compromising on integrity?
Absolutely. Okay. And so this question is asked a lot. And so one of the things that you should understand is that for us to have survived this long in business and all of that, there must be something that we have done right. And I keep saying this over and over again, that what is the greatest asset that we have? Keeping integrity in focus. The greatest asset that we have ever built is the asset called relationship. Build that asset of relationship. Build it, build it, build it, build it. When you build the asset of relationship, trust me, it is extremely difficult for anybody to ask you to compromise when that person is your friend. You know, think about it this way. The business that you do, right? You have a very set number of people within that business that you're going to interact with on a day-to-day basis. Classify your people in the hierarchy of needs, the hierarchy of the relationships that you are going to build. Now, once you know the people that you are going to be meeting on a day-to-day basis in that business, please, for goodness sake, build a genuine relationship with them. Take time, know them. Take time, become friends. Take time. Now, friendship is not built overnight. Everybody, what? How about if you were the friend who knows you for being a friend when they were not in position? Are they going to remain a friend when they're in position? You know, you have to calculate it. You've got to think it. You've got to be very deliberate about your friends and deliberate about your relationship. The only way that you can get through everything is to pay money and get through. Guess what? You can pay. It will get you some of the way, but almost guaranteed, somebody is going to, this I learned a long time, somebody is going to come who can pay more than you. And the day the person pays more than you, you're out of business.
You're out of business. Yeah. Can you hear me, sir? Okay, great, sir. It was
Okay, we're
breaking up,
back
but I
here.
think we're
Yeah.
back. Yes, sir. Unstoppable Lina says, please save the video. The video will be saved. Definitely, the video will be saved for 24 hours. And by God's grace, we have a team that will download this. So if you want to watch it within the next 24 hours, you can watch it. Just check at Femi Anibokon after this. And we'll also save the video and send it to Mr. Cole so that he can also have it, maybe upload it on wherever he has, because he said so much today. So much. So after this, you can watch for 24 hours at Femi Anibokon. You said so many things that was key about relationship. There's a book I'm reading now on Never Eat Alone by Kate Farazi, which just says a lot about what you said. You know, begin to build a relationship before you even need it. You don't know where people always target when people are high up. But
Yes.
if you know them from even when they are nobody and you all grow together, it'll be hard for them to leave you. And I'm going to ask you a question now. Let me start asking a passive question. We know things on mountains of influence. Talking about mountains of influence, you know, arts and entertainment, business, you know, family and all.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people know you as okay. I also hear the video will be available on TC's YouTube page. Right, that's brilliant. I love that. Thank you so much. The video will be available on the YouTube. So Meko will download it. I will send to you and to be uploaded because there's so much that that has been said today that I think we must stay with and we must run with. Now, everybody knows you as Mr. Tonye Sahara, co-founder of Sahara. But I personally, maybe because of my proximity, have been following you. I know
Yeah.
there's so much more to you than Sahara. I know
Yes.
you do so much impact work. I know you do so much, right? And so let's get to know other aspects of you, sir, beyond the Sahara man, beyond the intellectual that everybody knows, the one man that speaks. In what area? What are the other areas to you that we probably we should up close and personal with you?
Okay. All right. So, for the purpose of today's discussion, I'll just touch two. The first aspect of it has been quiet philanthropy. Okay, going out and just doing. I love to do things for people who have no idea that I'm doing it, have
Mm,
no way of coming back to say, thank you, this is what you have done. Just stay behind the scenes and just impact people. Just go out and impact people. And it's almost taken from, in fact, it is taken from the Bible that says that what your right hand is doing, your left hand should not do. When you are giving, don't give so that you are giving for the sake of men to come back and hail you and say, well done, well done,
mm,
well done. So there's that aspect of it. Just give. Many people try just do that very, very quietly. So that's one aspect of it. Now, having said that, there's also the aspect of it that you still give on philanthropic basis. So you set up foundations, you do certain things and all of that. So that is there. So giving to people who are less privileged, who can never say, they can never repay you. That's the word I was using. They can never repay you back, right? In the same kind that you have given to them. It's not possible. So I actively seek for such opportunities to impact lives like that. So that's one. Many people don't know that. So as a result of that, you get all sorts, because I'm a public figure as well, so I get all sorts of people abusing me left, right, and center. But remember what I said, when you know your purpose, when you know where you're going, it
mm,
really doesn't matter what people say, you just focus
mm,
on it. So it's something I've been doing for the last 20 years. I have no worries about it, so I just continue. Now, purpose is also something, when you know you're on something, for many years you'll be on it. You see, once you know where you're going, it does not matter. You know where you are going.
mm.
Nobody should take you to where they want you to go. It is where you are going that is important. So you just focus on it. But that's one aspect of it. So philanthropy for me, for my entire family and all of that, has been something that is ingrained. It is better to give than to receive. It is better to save your gift than to receive. So that aspect of it, you do. That's giving. And giving is in different ways. There's giving of resources. So whether it's money, whether it's food, whether it's school scholarships and all of that, there's that aspect of it. But there's also the giving of your intellect. There's the giving of your experience, the giving of helping younger people to get knowledge, the giving of teaching, the giving of mentoring. There's that aspect of it. And that is, you cannot value that. That is invaluable. Now, all of these things are things that I do effortlessly. God helping me, I will continue doing that until the day that I die. It doesn't worry me.
Amen.
I enjoy it. I absolutely delight in giving of that nature. No worries. That's one. The second aspect of it that most people do not know, or I don't know whether they know and all of that, is service to God. There's no, I don't even, there's no compromise on that. No compromise whatsoever in it. For that and for me, that is something that is ingrained. It's something that I had to come to a very direct and very personal encounter. Myself, God, so that I just look at him. Again, he's the one that I look to, not to man. I just focus. Where are you asking me to go? What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? And that's it. I stay focused. So I can be laser focused when it comes to those things. So service to God, like I do in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, whether it's with Team Nehemiah that I do, serving on the road, traffic, sanitation, doing all of those things, again, you're laughing. But again, it's service, So for me, the center and core of what I do is leadership by service. It's not leadership by being one big guy sitting down somewhere. No, serve the people. If people are there, serve them. That for me is what it's about. Serve your gift all the time.
Thank you so much. So when you talk about service, I just remembered when a lot of time when I was in Nigeria, I see you on the road directing traffic in the rain. You brought swagger to service. Because some people, when they feel they have arrived, they believe they're not supposed to get their hands dirty with things like that. But you brought dignity, and that was something that is in countries like the United States of America, dignity of labor. In Nigeria, we just so let me use that as a question. Sometimes people don't want to start, or let me use the word, they don't want to start dirty. They just believe I finish working, I go straight for 6-figure jobs. I don't want to start, rough. But what do you have to say about service? Getting 100, keeping your eyes on the goal, but still being able to navigate those waters of service and getting our hands dirty.
I found, and that's a great question. One of the things that I've found out in life is that if you cannot do something and if you are not willing to do something, don't ask others to do it. Okay? So if you're not willing to do it, don't ask others to do it. And secondly, before you ask people to do something, try it. Go there, try it, experience it, so that you know what they know, you know what they feel. And that way it can help you in your leadership. It can help you drive leadership to the level that you want it to go. So for me, when I do service and all of that, it is both for me to understand what I'm asking of people, to understand how they feel, to understand what they need to go through, to understand where I need to get them to see a vision, to understand whether if I see how somebody is acting in a way or the kind of report I'm getting, I know whether they're doing it from a point of commitment or whether they're doing it from a point of eye service. Because before they do it, I have done it. I have been there, I've done it. And a lot of times I don't ask, I don't call them, I will do things they will not even know I'm doing it. I will go there, go into the field, check the field out, check exactly what it is, walk the walk, talk the talk, so that if I then come back to sit in the office to then manage, I'm managing from a point of strength. I'm managing from a point of experience. I'm managing from a point that I have been there as well, so that I can help you by seeing what you see at this level, and also from coming with the experience that I might have built over the years from this level. And putting both of them together, we can get further.
Wow. Thank you so much. In fact, our minds are blown away. I don't know how my headphones can still contain my head. My head is almost blown away already. So much has been said. Thank you so much. I'll take this question, and the questions are flying in left, right, and center. But I don't know. We might not take, definitely we can't take all. Now, people talk about jack of all trade, master of none, right? So a lot of people talk about specialization. Just do one thing. I've been known for it. But if I know you very well, I know you for more than one thing. I know you for several things. So my question is 2 questions in one. Is it possible to be a jack of all trade, master of all? Is it possible to be razor sharp in different aspects? So even if you're a minister, you're a good business mogul, you're a good this, and is it possible? And if yes, if it's possible, how can one be able to multitask and handle multiple responsibilities like that and still excel at all like you are doing?
Yes, it is. So the main issue there, your slippers, man. The main issue there. So the main issue there is that, is it possible? What the underlying fact is that is your purpose known? This road that you are on, do you know what it's about? So let's assume that you are in the business of creating, making people successful, helping and generate new businesses. So you have an entrepreneurial mindset and all of that. You can create many businesses. Why? Because you have the skill of managing people. You have the skill of finding the right kind of people to run those businesses. And guess what? So you may be seen as an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur that creates many businesses. But when they now look at your skill, you would find out that the skill that you have is not running all those businesses. You see, that's where the jack of all trades, master of none is. Because you are feeling that you must be the one here, you must be the one there, you must be the one everywhere. In that case, you will not be anywhere. What you ought to be is that you have the ability to identify talent. So you will see that somebody will sit down, right, and he can open multiple businesses. Why? Because he can find the right skills. He will find the right CEOs, right this and all, who can then run those businesses. And all he or she does is that after bringing all of those together, amalgamate them into one, see where they're going, have that vision as to where they need to go, and make sure that they follow the same vision. So, totally different things. Do you have the skill to find the right people to run multiple businesses? If you have, then please, by all means, do so. There are some people whose responsibility, whose skills are in one area. They know how to be focused in one thing, and that thing they will develop it to become the best or the biggest in that. It's fine as well. So just know who you are, know your skills, know where your strengths are and all of that. I don't have a problem with that. But whoever said jack of all trade, master of none, knows right that you cannot be the jack of all trade and master of all. It's not possible. The jack is the one who is sitting down and running the show. If you want to run the show on many fronts, you will fail.
I get that last one. So you can do it, especially from a leadership point of view. Lead through people. You can sell your vision.
Absolutely.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Bikachi from Abuja says, at this time, many Nigerians, especially youth, think there is great lack of opportunities to thrive with. What do you have to say about that?
First, I don't agree with him. I understand why he says that, but I don't agree with him for that. Now, why do they say that? Three things. The first aspect of it is that it's believed mindset-wise that the only place that you will get opportunities and all of that is from government, and that if the government is not creating those opportunities, then those opportunities do not exist. As long as it is government creating those opportunities, and that's where you think that your opportunities will come from, you will be limited. It's not possible. The government cannot create the jobs for you in that area. So that aspect of it will limit you. So that's number one problem. The second problem that that mindset brings is that the only place that you can get the jobs are from certain areas, certain industries. So if you're not in banking, or let's just call it, if you're not in the organized private sector, whether it's banking, oil and gas and all of that, that you cannot get a job. All right. So put those two in one bucket. What you need to start thinking is pull yourself out, remove all of those things. Just say, you know what? It's not government, it's not organized private sector. It's me. What am I able to do? As an entrepreneur, as somebody with an idea, and I want to run with it, what do I do? Now, once you begin to think about that, where do you key in? The first aspect of it, where are the opportunities in Nigeria? The biggest opportunity in Nigeria is that wherever there is a problem, that is an opportunity. Think again. As long as there's a problem, it is an opportunity. Now, we have many problems. In fact, as we are coming through this COVID now, many more areas of challenges and problems are going to open. Those are major opportunities for you to solve. For every entrepreneur, what is an entrepreneur's role? An entrepreneur's role is to solve a problem, and then in solving that problem, impact people, and then in impacting people, make a living out of it, make a profit, make your income, make your revenue. So think about it from the young man's perspective. If he wakes up in the morning, let him start by thinking that what is my greatest problem today? Maybe that problem is applications. That how can I get writing my application? No, let me even change it. Maybe the problem that he has, his greatest problem, is how does he even know where the opportunities exist? Where are their jobs? Where are their opportunities? I don't even know where those opportunities are. Guess what? That's a job waiting. It's somebody's responsibility. It's somebody who can think and say, you know what? How can I even begin to find out? There must be data somewhere. How can I begin to gather all the information about which state, which local government, which area has opportunities that young people can migrate to? That's already a job for somebody. That's one person's job. Create data that you can move. So the point is that we need to think. There are many ways that we can think about this thing, but a problem gives you the opportunity. If you can find the solution, you have a job.
He has sent the part two of that question, and
Okay.
I'll put it. He says, now a lot of young people believe there are no opportunities in Nigeria, and because of that, they seek. There's a lot of, as an HR
Migration.
consultant, I know that one of the biggest challenges that we're facing. So one of the telecoms company I worked for while I was in Nigeria was there we had 5 people from a 6-man department resign on the same day. All of them
Yes.
to
Yes.
Canada. So our greatest
Yes.
competition was not the next telecoms company, but
Yes.
brain drain. Right.
Yes.
So now we have a lot of right. So the first slave trade was when they came to take us people from Africa out. But
Yes.
now the next one is almost now we are the ones that want to go by force. We are
Yes.
going.
Yes.
Right. So what's yeah, and a lot because as people with the same skills are probably making it out there, but they were frustrated in Nigeria.
True.
What do you think the solution? Because if this continues, we are going to lose some of our brightest minds in the next future. What do you think the solution to this is? Do you think it's a problem, number one? And
Of
number
course.
two, like a lot of our doctors have left and we have COVID in Nigeria. So how do you think this can be addressed?
Okay. So it can be addressed from 2 areas. So the first thing, when you sit down and you ask that, why is it, just the basic question, why is it that people leave and they want to go elsewhere? The underlying fact is that they don't have hope. They don't believe. They don't believe, right, that anything they do, right, is going to make a difference for tomorrow. So as a result of that, they go. So that's the first aspect of it. So if you want people to stay, then you have to give them hope that what they are doing today matters and that it is going to make a difference tomorrow. You see, if I believe, right, that the effort that I put today is going to make my tomorrow better, and then my children will have a better tomorrow, I will stay where I am. You see, anybody who is getting up and going, if you ask them, somewhere in their heart, they know that they still love their country. They may not love the people, they may not love the politicians, they may not love the government, they may not love the businessmen, but innately, if you ask all of them that if they were given an opportunity to make a difference in their country, would they stay? Most of them would stay. So they don't have, nobody is giving them the hope that tomorrow, their efforts today is going to make a difference for tomorrow. Give them that hope, they will stay. That's the first aspect of it. Now, the second aspect of it for them is that when they begin to think about it, when they are leaving, why are they leaving? Because they don't have enough information, right, to know that there are opportunities that they can stay with here that would help them to go. Many times people sit down in certain locations, and those locations is where they don't believe that there's opportunity elsewhere. So most people will migrate into Lagos or they will migrate into Abuja. Nigeria has many, many places, but they will migrate into those centers. And once they get into those centers, that is where they stay. And as long as they're in those centers and they're trapped in those places, they're coming in where so many people are also coming. It makes it a cauldron. It makes it heavy. It makes it difficult. Meanwhile, where they're living, where they've left to come to Lagos, has many opportunities, but can they see it? So hope, once you give people hope, they start to see opportunities where they did not see it before. Even in their backyard, they will begin to see it. So somebody's responsibility it is to give them hope. Unfortunately, the main people who should give hope to them are the people who are in government, those who hold on to power, those who are elected into power. The minute they begin to give their people hope, you will see that the brain drain will slow down.
So I pinned a comment that was very, very, very similar to our discussion before this. Right? It says, do you have any written book, sir? You should write a book, sir. So I will not say more like that. You understand what we're talking about.
We're working on it.
YMP for music, right? And I'll say this now. My next question is going to be funny enough. The person was just in the spirit because my connection is going to be on books. Obviously, you are an embodiment of knowledge. Obviously, you answer this question effortlessly, and it's not just from, I tell people there are many ways you can learn in life, apart from divine revelation, either from education, from experience or exposure. Education, experience or exposure. Definitely you are a well-read man. So number one, my question is, do you believe in reading books? If yes, can you share 2, 3, 4, 5 books that you have read that has impacted you so much? Sometimes you can also just instead of just, because there's an avalanche of books, but 2, 3, 4, 5 that has blessed you or has really helped you propel you to be who you are today.
Okay.
And
in fact, I started reading books when I was 8 or thereabouts. So I came from a home where reading books was a culture. So from the age of 8, we'll be taken to a bookshop, Glendora, and those days on Aolo Road, go and buy a book. Every week, we'll buy one book, we'll come back, read the book, and all of that. So reading books has been a part of culture for us in our family, all my children, myself, my father. All. So books are something that we do and we have been doing for a long time. Now, that reading, believe me, it exposes your mindset, it exposes your imagination, it helps you understand things and see things so much. Anyway, so books, yes, I do read a lot of books. So it's to give you books that have made such a big difference in such a huge number that one has read may be difficult. However, some come to mind immediately. As you are speaking, I started thinking about it. The first aspect of it, the first one that comes to mind is Rick Warren, Purpose-Driven Life. Purpose-Driven Life changed my life. Huh? It really changed my life. So if you have not read it, excellent. If you have not read it, go and get it and read it. It's something that would help you begin to focus and know why you're here. So purpose-driven life, big difference. Another one that Malcolm Gladwell, right? He's written a couple of books, but Tipping Point probably is one that has made a major difference. I believe I've read a couple of them, but I believe it's Tipping Point that kind of mathematically began to show that when you are born, where you are born, the area you are born, the time you are born, and all of that makes a difference. That there are certain people from a certain generation in a certain place, when just because of them, there's a tipping point in their generation and all of that. And believe me, we're in another tipping point moment. So I keep saying that anybody who is alive now, if you're alive now and you had enough for you to even be on this channel, you are born in a particular age and you're alive today when COVID is doing what it is, you're in a tipping point generation. It means that you are being given the opportunity to change things, to tip Nigeria, to turn things around. Wherever you are, you can change the dynamics completely from whatever it was to whatever it can be. So we're in a tipping point generation. So that's one of that's another book that I would recommend, because it kind of just lets you understand that, you know what, you're not here you're not here by mistake. You're here for a particular reason. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's just amazing how time flies. We're just before you know, it's just almost 1 hour. And I would just encourage the video will be available on TC's YouTube page after this, and also it will be available for 24 hours on my story. So
okay, somebody corrected me. It's Outlier. The book is Outlier. Thank you.
Okay,
you're right. Outlier. That's the correct one.
Outlier. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Right, and it's very, very key. For that purpose-driven life, I give my son during this pandemic. He's just a 9-year-old. Every day he takes. That's why he was just on my table here, because he has to read it and debrief it to me. I don't think he's 2. You said 8. He's 8, 9 just now. So I think it's early to inculcate our kids in the reading habits. It's very, very early. But I'll take me to my last question, which I want you to wrap up, because this thing, we can never finish it up. The questions are still coming in, they're plunging in, but we can't finish it. Now, you said something about, everybody looks, but not everybody sees, when we're talking about opportunities. Yeah, maybe not in those exact words, but that's what I inferred from it. Everybody looks, but not everybody sees. Correct. And I know fully well that what got us here can take us there. Right. So the skill sets, the competencies, the capacities, the chemistry, everything that brought us here might not just be sufficient to take us there, especially post-COVID. I'm saying this especially for a lot of students who are going to be watching, who are doing courses that are never necessary in the future, because there's a future of work also. So much artificial intelligence, gig, there's so much, and what parting shots are you giving to everyone who is watching this beyond, how can they develop themselves for the future post-COVID?
Okay. So the first thing that I'll say to everyone is that if you have an education if you have an education at all, you are already on a pedestal. You have already taken the stepping stone. What does an education, forget whether you read English or you read architecture, forget that aspect first of all. Just know that if you went through an education system of any sort, you were given the ability to think. You are given the ability to expand. If you are being given the ability to expand your view a bit, then you know that you are already in a position that you can begin to take advantage of what is coming. Number two, believe in yourself. There is nothing that will take you through life than you believing in yourself. So just sit back and begin to tell yourself that there's nothing you cannot do. There's nothing you cannot do. You might have to learn something new, but take it. If somebody else, if Ayo can do it, I can do it as well. If Tonye can do it, me, I can do it as well. So you look at somebody, agree that if they can do it. My father used to tell me something, and I think I'll use that to close. I never used to do very well as a student in secondary school, but there was something that he used to tell me all the time. He said, the person who came first, he has 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose, 1 mouth, and 1 brain. Exactly what you have. And what was he saying? He says that it takes just a little effort. Believe in yourself. And once you know that if somebody else who has exactly the same qualities that you have can do it, then you can do it. It might mean that you will push yourself a bit more. It might mean that you must believe in yourself a little bit more. But guess what? It is okay. If they can do it, you can.
Thank you so much, sir. We just have like 30 seconds remaining, but honestly, permit me to use what I've been blessed. You have impacted, you've spoken to me, I've spoken to hundreds of people who have joined in for this session. Thank you so much. If you are not following Mr. Tonye Cole on Instagram, it's at Tonye Patrick Cole on Instagram. For those of you that want to watch the story, feel free to follow at Femi Enigbokon and also watch the story for 24 hours and all. The YouTube page, I've pinned the YouTube page of Mr. Cole, that's Tonye Cole TV. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Life Capsule. We still have some other editions with some other people. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Cole. Thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge with us today. I was blessed, and we have just 10 seconds more, but thank you so much. We appreciate you greatly, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you to all the viewers. I hope you learned a lot, and God bless you. We'll continue to give what we have. You cannot give what you don't have. So God bless you.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much, sir.
Bye-bye.